Hello and welcome everybody back to Mr. Burr's art class for your lesson of the week. Okay, so today what you're going to need is a pencil, a black piece of construction paper, your chalk, okay, your colored chalk here, and you also need your sketch pad, okay? This sketch pad is for you to kind of practice before we get into it, okay? Because we need to really know how to draw those circles and triangles, rectangles as well, okay? Now, we should be able to do this because we've been working on it since the beginning, okay, of the school year. We've done circles, squares, rectangles, diamonds, okay, all of these things. So, remember, as we start, we can start with one point here, come here, and you can do 3 points, and you can connect the dots. Okay, so if you're having a hard time drawing nice triangles, you can practice. Okay, but guess what? These triangles don't have to be perfect. Okay, in fact, I might do some wonky triangles like that. That one has a little bit of a curve to it. Okay, that's totally fine. If you want to try your own here, nice tall triangle, you can do that. All right, any of these triangles are okay. Okay, circles, same thing here. One circle goes all the way around. More like an oval. Totally fine. You can practice your shapes inside your sketchbook that can help you before this project. Okay, so if you're having a hard time with your shapes, we're going to be using a lot of tall triangles and round circles. The other thing that you can practice is more curvy S-like shapes that are kind of like triangles that kind of come down to a teardrop point. And all I did there is I started here, I curve it in, I come back down, and then I round it off almost like a circle. So it's like a teardrop, okay? So you can use the first page in your sketchbook to practice your shapes because we are going to be using triangles, circles, and some maybe even curvy teardrop triangles. Okay? Once you have this and you feel confident about your shape drawing, you can go ahead and close it up and we can move right along. First thing you're going to do here is take your pencil, okay? You can decide if you want your paper to go up and down tall ways, okay? This is vertical or horizontal, side to side, landscape. Totally up to you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start all the way up here in this corner, and I'm going to draw myself a big circle coming in here from this corner. Big circle. In fact, that circle even goes all the way off of my page. All right, totally okay. Ready for this one? Even this one here is going to come in somewhere over here, a little bit off of my page, just like this. Okay? Totally fine. Now those are the 2 circles that you've drawn so far. We're going to come back here in a little bit and draw some more. But before we do that, we're going to use our pencil and we're going to practice those triangle shapes. I'm going to start over here off of my paper. I'm going to come in and draw a triangle shape. I'm going to start here. I'm going to come in and draw another triangle shape. Okay? If I want to try some of those curvy looking triangle shapes, you can do that too. Totally up to you. As I come around each time, I might have to run it off my paper. And that is okay. All right? Remember, straight triangle shapes are okay too. Any of the shapes that you can do here, totally up to you. Okay? I've just done some regular triangles. I did a couple of curvy ones if you want to try that. Okay? If these ones are too hard, you can just stick to regular triangles. The other thing that I'm going to do is come in here and maybe draw some little circles all over the big circle. Just like this. All right. The next step is you get to decide what colors you feel like you want to use for your chalk. okay? You can use any of the colors in here. Now, I'm going to pretend mine are sunflowers based on the shapes that they are. And I'm going to use a lot of yellow, orange, brown, maybe even a little bit of green, and maybe some white. You decide what colors you want to use. Totally up to you. I'm going to start with some orange and some yellow, okay? My first two colors. We're going to try and start with the lightest colors first because we can always go back and make it darker. With my yellow chalk, I'm going to start over here on the edge and kind of come in from the side, up and around. Color it in a little bit. Now, it's not as dusty and messy as some of the other chalk pastel that we've used, but you will be using your finger to smudge and smear, okay? Smudge and smear just a bit. Take it again, and do the next one the same, or you can change it up. You could do rainbow flowers if you want. As I'm coloring, take my finger, smear, and smudge. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on. I'm going to fill in all of these, maybe use some rainbow colors if I want. Okay, totally up to you. I'm going to use this chalk, and I'm going to color in all of the petals, and then I'm going to come back with more colors with the petals. All right, now that I have the base color down, I'm going to go ahead and take my second color, orange, and I'm going to go directly over top of it and add in a little bit more color in some of these areas, pressing a little bit harder to blend over top of what's already there. All right, I got the second layers down. Now, the next step for me is to kind of come in here with maybe a little bit more darker of a color if I want. So maybe I'll choose some more red color here to mix over top as well. Maybe through the middle. You can use any of the colors that are there inside your chalk. Make up your own flower, kind of like I'm doing here. They're the shapes of sunflowers, but you don't have to make them sunflowers. Add it in there. You're going to take your finger and you're going to smudge and smear just a bit. All right, now got to be very careful not to blow all this all over the place. So what you can do is if you have your newspaper down below, you can just kind of tap it off onto your newspaper, and then it's a little bit more clean, okay? The next step is I'm going to take this color here, which is kind of a brownish color, and I'm going to start coloring in the middle part of this flower right in here. All right, now notice how these are not fully filled in here. That is okay because in fact some little bit of texture is kind of what we're looking for. So as you can see, I left some of the areas a little bit more, as you could say, rough. I'm gonna go ahead and go back with some yellow and maybe add in some of those dots that I did earlier. All right, we're using basic shapes here. Basic shapes here. Circles, triangles. We're using our fingers to smear and smudge. And all we're doing is getting a general idea of what maybe one of these flowers could look like. I'm going to take this green and do an S shape going straight off my paper. Color it in a bit. Okay, now we're going to take our white and we're going to go in and add some highlights. All right, now as you can tell, some texture, some smeared and smudged, some smooth. You can go back in with any of the colors that are in here. If you don't like that black background, you can go ahead and color it. If you like the contrast in dark to light, okay, the background's very dark and then the colors that you've added are very light, you can go in with another color and even color in a little bit in between. Totally up to you. I'm gonna do this section down here just so you could see what it could look like with a different color. This is some light purple, smeared and smudged. Almost looks white. All right, that's just one choice that you have among the many that could be floating inside your brain. So as we come along, smear and smudge with your finger. All right, as you can tell, sometimes it doesn't turn out as great as maybe just leaving it alone, okay? So clean it up with a clean finger, smear and smudge some of those things away, streak them into the distance. Not a problem, okay? Again, you can take these colors, mix and match, overlap over top of them. Totally up to you, boys and girls. You have the freedom to decide if you want to color in here with your chalk or if you want to leave it alone, black, or if you want to come in and press really hard on your chalk without breaking it and really get a nice solid coat of the color that you desire. All right, big difference than leaving it where it wasn't very colorful. Okay, you can always go back in, press a little bit harder with your chalk and really pop those colors out. Okay, that's just one example of how you could either leave it alone, black, clean it up, paper towel, okay? Paper towel works really well. Or you can go in between in color, okay? Well, I hope you guys had fun and enjoy, okay? Like I said, you can use this chalk if you have other supplies at home. Just make sure that we are using the rest of our materials for every Monday for a new art project, okay? All right, hope you had fun and enjoy. Until next week, bye-bye.